A very good morning and a happy new year. Thank you for tuning into my channel. If you like what you see, do hit the subscribe button and turn notifications on to follow me more and see what I'm up to. Alright, it's literally 4 AM. Okay, me one thing. Time for a no stream day trip. This one's a very special one to me as I'll quit the Martin Lewis one. For those who don't know who Martin Lewis is, he's a money expert about how to save money. Why I quit Martin Lewis special one is because this stream day trip did going to cost me £16 return. Yes, you did hear me say £16 a return. And even my parking was free. So you might ask, how do you get the flight so cheap? Well, I use another company called Trip, which is like an app. I use my buy train tickets, you get rewards there, like a few pennies every time you book it. And they were doing promotion to get save £10 each way per person, up to 16 people, I believe. So I found that literally a flight on Skyscanner like they usually do. The flight should have been £36 return, but I booked it individually parts on Trip to Edinburgh from Luton. It was £16. So my flights are 7:15 in the morning. So I'm leaving here at 4:15, and then a flight home is 8:15. If all goes well, I should be in Edinburgh just after 8 AM. And if I come home back in Hertfordshire, hopefully I'll be tucked in the bed by 10ish. So next thing you heard me say was free parking. Well, the parking was free-ish. I like to say free because I use my Tesco club card. For those who go shopping Tesco do club card points, and the points turns to pounds. Instead of using it for food and a drink in Tesco's, I doubled my points on the club card scheme. And I noticed they had APH airport car parking, which is basically air parks. And I looked at how much air parks would cost. It said it's going to cost £20 to park one day in Luton for a transfer, which is about 15 minutes, I believe. And I had to have £10 worth of credit. So then I turned that into £10 into £20. And it took about 5 minutes to do online. And then I got to give them the code and literally booked it through APA air parks, car parking. And obviously didn't pay anything. So this trip literally is £16 at the moment. I know for a fact the tram to Edinburgh city cost £9.50, I believe, each for a return trip. So let's add that to it. So what am I doing today is the next question. Well, we arrived quite early, so I'm hoping to get to Edinburgh city by 10 o'clock, if I'm honest with you. I hope to get a coffee somewhere, get my caffeine fix. As I booked a free walking tour. But it's not just a walking tour around Edinburgh, because we've done Edinburgh a few times. It's walking with a person with a dog, telling their history of Edinburgh, plus seeing the castle and a few attractions. I haven't done a walking tour around Edinburgh before, but I've done the walking tours before. They work on commission base. So if you like what you see, you give them a little donation, probably about £10 usually, I would say is a good donation. But one I last did, one was fantastic. So I worked out how I feel is, as it's a free tour, they actually put the heart and soul into it and make it more personalised, and they actually quite passionate to actually make you give them a good tip. To book this trip, literally was on freewalkingtour.com. You just put your name on it and literally say, I want to go to tour. And the email, and that's it. Next thing I booked was in the late afternoon is the the whiskey experience on Princess Street, run by Joy Walker. When I last went to Edinburgh was quite a few years ago, pre-pandemic, if I remember rightly. It was being built as a whiskey drinker myself, so it could be quite interesting. But my wife is obviously driving, and it's not a whiskey drinker at all. But soft drinks or alcohol-free alternatives. I believe you get free drinks and that as well, and as in like free, the number three, and that costs £30 each. Afterwards, I think a little time to wander around the city a little bit more before checking into dinner at fourish at the Piper's Rest. It's a typical Scottish restaurant. Got haggis on the menu, for example, and a few other Scottish cuisines, which I'll go into later. And then when we go back to the airport, I don't know, probably about 5:30, go to the airport. Why? Get there just after 6, if not even before, because it's a tram, not sure take long to get to the city centre. And come back home. And also, the weather looks pretty good. It's about 7 degrees. So fingers crossed, have a safe flight. Let's watch this extreme day trip fold out. I'm now back home, as you can see, and it's 11 p.m. I must apologise not to doing a video when I was out and about in town, for a few reasons. The main reason, literally, was out of respect for the tour guides, and I literally couldn't record while I was walking frog marching to place to place because of I left the timing quite tight. But I'll give you a quick rundown of the whole day. Over the day was fantastic. I think it was another great adventure in Edinburgh. So I forgot to mention we flew from Luton with EasyJet. Luton Airport, had been there for donkeys. It's getting better. Went through quicker than Stansted. For about 10 minutes, if that. Boarding the plane, no problem at all. Seats are a bit tighter than Ryanair. But it's for an hour flight, it's fine. There was mention about the whole you can't use lockers, but everyone still did. And literally we arrived in Edinburgh on time. And literally the tram cost £9.50 return. The tram was actually longer than I thought it would take. It took about 25 minutes to get into town. Well, I say town, Princess Street, which is the main city area. Nice route. I saw some deers eating grass and just running riot. I also went past Murrayfields, the rugby stadium, en route. It's pretty more stress-free than getting the bus. So literally when we arrived, literally went straight to en route to the Royal Mile area where the tour was going to be. It was by about an hour beforehand actually, that time. So literally stopped off, I got a caffeine fix, and actually had a scone to eat as well. Lovely cafe, got a thing called Deacon's Cafe. A coffee there, large one, £3.60 for a latte. Cheaper than the cost of coffee, in my opinion. So the tour, we went with a person called Sarah with her dog. The tour was actually fantastic, and the dog was extra super cute. The dog was very friendly, and just you had some treats you can feed the dog. The dog's like stroking, it made the walking tour more fun. I won't give away too much about the tour in case you're going to do it yourself. But if you're a Harry Potter fan, it's definitely worth doing the tour, as there's a lot of Harry Potter references. I've been to Edinburgh several times, but I don't know all the history about it all, and I found Sarah was very informative. The tour's meant to last 2 hours. It lasted for about 2 hours 10. So made our next attraction, which was the Johnny Walker Princess Street Whiskey Experience. Try to get there. It was meant to be like a 20-minute walk. We had to do it in like 10. So literally we just pretty much walked proper march down to the place. When we arrived there, at 1:30-ish for 1:40 start. We was meant to be there at 1:20. There wasn't really a big issue about it at all. But they asked you beforehand to just do check-ins. So during walk experience was £30 it costs. As we walked in, the first thing I had to do was do a taste bud questionnaire, and it worked out what your whiskey tastes you like. Mine was blue, which is smoky. My wife did one, I think hers was pink, but as she's driving and doesn't drink whiskey, she did the old alcohol-free option, which is a white wristband, and they get mocktails instead. So I won't tell much about the tour either, because it's really if you did do it. But you get a few drinks of whiskey, and you do taste some more afterwards. And I actually tried some exclusive ones, which is like 48%. I didn't tell much what a bottle was, but to be fair, you probably could buy a bottle anyway because of the whole queue back to the airport. As my wife was driving, and she couldn't take part in the drinking part, not that she would anyway, I don't think. We got given a little driver's pack of 3-inch whiskies, which we took home with us, and there was no problem getting through security either. Was it worth £30 at all? I thought it was fantastic, worth the money, just for the sheer amount of drinks you get. That's my opinion. My wife said about the same. She got the little tasters. But if you're not a whiskey fan, maybe it isn't for you. Afterwards, went to literally rush to the restaurant. Had a meal in the Piper's Rest. I thought it was a new restaurant, but it actually turned out to be a restaurant we went to beforehand. I had the famous steak pie, beautiful pie. My wife had a beef and haggis whiskey sauce burger. Portions fantastic, massive. You don't need a starter, you need a dessert. To be honest, you pay what you get. It wasn't the cheapest meal you could get. Worked out with 2 main courses and 2 drinks, just over £50. So after that, we literally got the tram back to the airport and just waited. And I mean waited, we just waited at the airport for ages because the flight was delayed slightly. And then when we got on the plane, it was rushed to get on the plane. And then we was back to the land. We had to do like a sudden lift out again because there's problems with the air traffic control. So we arrived late. We should have arrived about 9:15, I think it was. It turned out to be about 9:45-ish. But as soon as we landed, we rushed for the airport, which is quite easy to do because it's domestic flights and no passports were required. But please bring an ID if you're going to go because they do check now and again. And literally went to park got the bus to collect the car. And literally picked the keys, literally drove off. And like I said, we was home by 11 o'clock. So literally out of the house for just under 15 hours. And it's been like a long day. Well, no, sorry, not 15 hours, actually. Since 4 a.m. and now it's 11 o'clock. So 19 hours. I haven't any more trips lined up actually for day trip because I actually can't find any cheap ones. So if you do find them, do please post it so I know. But overall, Edinburgh is worth going to for a day trip. Hell, yes it is. There's lots of options to do. If you didn't really fancy doing what we did, you've got the zoo, which is one of the most best zoos we've got in the UK. And it probably costs maybe £30 if that to get in. And that would take you around the whole day. I'll probably leave it as there because it is getting late and late now. And I think it's time to hit my bed. So until our next adventure, take care guys. And please, if you like what you see, hit subscribe. Right, peace.